Hey guys, welcome to another exciting week of astrology. We are closing out the month of January this week. We are opening the month of February. We're doing it in a pretty heated, dynamic, maybe passionate and intense way. We are starting our week this week with both luminaries in exact aspect to Mars in air signs. This is a lot of very highly energized mental energy that may be coming through and manifesting itself in a myriad of ways, which we're going to talk about in this video today. We also have a lot more Uranus energy on the table again this week. We're coming out of this Mercury Uranus trine that we experienced over the weekend, and that energy is still in effect today, but now we're also building into a Sun square Uranus aspect as well. This is sort of coloring and influencing the energy coming in this week, and definitely as we head towards this weekend when this aspect will come exact, another week of expect the unexpected, perhaps some sudden abrupt changes or disturbances to our comfort zone going on in one way or another. Lots of energy to talk about today, you guys, and like I said, this week is coming in hot. So let's get into our chart for the day. Let's break down this energy, take a look at it in a little bit more detail, and see what it might mean for us on an experience on the ground today. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Monday, January 30th, 2023. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the day. If you guys stick with me till the end of the report, we're also going to be talking about some tarot cards that came out for us today in the context of a collective reading that I have done for all of us as well, because I really like to tap the field from more than one modality when I do these reports to just get a more well-rounded overview of what's going on an energetic level from looking at it from a couple different angles. So we're going to do that at the end as well. I do want to say though, I kind of want to talk a little bit about that actually to start our report today. I did only get one card coming out of the deck when I was shuffling this morning, and it was the Knight of Wands, which really says everything and really encapsulates the energy of the day well. So if you know anything about the tarot and the energy of the Knight of Wands, that is what is really carrying us through in terms of the astrology activations that are going on today as well, with all of this Mars energy that is compelling us towards some forward movement. And knights are messengers. Knights represent movement and like rushing into something and change and just like this unrestrained flow of energy. We're talking about the Knight of Wands. This has to do with this fire, this inspiration, this motivation, this passion. So the passion and the fire, you guys, are the driving force in propelling the action that is happening right now and that is moving us forward. And there's a little bit more that came out in the context of the tarot today, which we're going to be talking about at the end. But Knight of Wands, you guys, is the vibe for sure of the day. Now let's bring the astrology into this. Like I said, both luminaries today, Monday, January 30th, 2023, closing out January, about to head into February in the next couple of days. But it's like we're starting off with a bang. We could see some fireworks this week. This is likely to be a very active week, a very dynamic week, a very like heated week, a week where there's just a lot happening generally. Again, there's like this fire burning inside that is driving this energy that is seeking to make something happen, to move things forward, to take things in a direction, to deliver a message, to create change. And then we're simultaneously bringing this Uranus influence in, which is going to be making a square to the sun later this week towards the weekend, like I said. And the sun is, you know, this life force energy as well, this energizing component. There is a lot of energy. Energy is likely to be very high this week, and we're likely to be feeling very like exuberant sort of, or like vital. Like vitality is likely to be pretty strong. We're probably feeling like pretty vigorous. This is like a good week to maybe like, you know, do a little extra in your workout, just because we should have sort of an abundance or an excess, maybe a little bit of an overflow of energy. And we can really use it, and we can tap it in this energy to be very productive, to make things happen. Like the knight, right? Like he's on a mission, like he's got a purpose behind him, and he's this energy, this motivation, this passion is what is driving him towards that purpose. And we are also in a year right now, which is trying to put us in a position where we can experience true growth in alignment with our goals and with our potential. So this passion, this fire, whatever's being lit or ignited within us right now is propelling us towards a course that will help us fulfill that purpose, or that activate that destiny, or complete that mission in one way or another. But anyways, starting off this week, like I said, with a bang, with this Mars energy, we actually are coming out of yesterday on Sunday. We were in this energy as well. It's so interesting because Mars is changing degrees today, moving with the sun and continuing on this exact activation. Yesterday we had the sun and Mars coming into an exact trine at 10 degrees of Aquarius and Gemini, and Mars moves forward a degree today. The sun changes a degree every day, and so as a result of that, now the trine is shifting from 10 degrees of Aquarius and Gemini to 11 degrees of Aquarius and Gemini. So the sun and Mars are traveling together, both having left 10 degrees, both having moved to 11 degrees. We have the moon there as well. This is our conscious and our unconscious, right? The spirit and the soul, the emotions, the feelings, the internal environment, and also what makes us grow and thrive and feel alive. Coming into the alignment with Mars, the trine, this is a facilitating aspect. This is a free flow of energy, unrestrained flow of energy, vigor, assertiveness, aggression perhaps as well, motivation, passion, willpower, anger, and rage could also be sort of free flying today. That's another dimension of this. I'll mention a little bit more in a minute, but with the moon there as well, this is the emotional alignment with that passion, with that motivation, with that perhaps anger that could be coming up as well. But just this force, this fire that on both a conscious and an unconscious level is driving things, driving action, propelling us, motivating us to move forward today. And it's going to be, like I said, carrying us through the rest of this week. It's so interesting as well, the Sabian symbol placement that we have associated with the 11 degrees that both of these planets are moving to today. 11 degrees of Aquarius, where the sun is today. During a silent hour, a man receives a new inspiration, which may change his life. And then the position of Mars, 11 degrees of Gemini, I love this degree, and I feel like it's so relevant right now. Newly opened lands offer the pioneer new opportunities for experience. So this is the energy that's being facilitated in terms of what is driving us forward. We are pioneering out on a new and inspired journey that is of life-changing consequence, with the also sun being in a square to the nodes right now. We have a T-square that is still going on. It's not exact. There's a 2-degree separation, but that is still quite strong in terms of the north and the south node, the future and the past, destiny and karma, breaking through resistances that have held us back in our trajectory of growth that we are being propelled towards and in the direction forward of right now. This dynamic has also been creating this tension in order to spur this movement and this growth and these creative solutions to the resistances that it creates. It's been sort of causing a little bit of conflict or irritation for the purpose of breaking through something that has been holding back this potential that is needing to express right now and go through this process of growth. And with the moon there as well, this, like I said, is our emotions, it is our feelings, it is our environment, the trine to the sun at these degrees. During a silent hour, a man receives a new inspiration that may change his life, right? This is this air energy hitting us, coming to us, Uranus as well. Mercury having been in the trine to Uranus, this is also this awakening or this flash of insight or this brilliant idea or just this mental release suddenly that happens from something as well that may change his life. We're talking about the sun and the square to the nodes. This is a turning point. This is destiny activation. This is divine alignment, and it's changing the future course and trajectory of things. Simultaneously, Mars, 11 degrees of Gemini, newly opened lands offer the pioneer new opportunities for experience. This is all about this Mars and Aries, or this Jupiter and Aries, Mars and Gemini vibe. Moving out, launching out, pioneering out in a new direction, seizing the day and embracing something new, a fresh start from this new inspiration, right? That has been driving the whole thing. Now, really what this boils down to, I feel like, is either passion or anger being infused and being the fuel, right? Being the motivating force. It's with this Knight of Wands energy also, it's going to go two ways probably with the Mars dynamic, the masculine dynamic. On one hand, again, this is the spirit spiritual warrior, and this is our passion, our motivation, and our willpower, and our courage and our strength. But on the other hand, it's also our anger, it's also our aggression, it's also fight, battle, war. Mars in the sign of Gemini, arguments, disagreements, like debates and stuff like that as well. So it could be manifesting along either octave. We're also talking about Mars and Gemini, which is polarities. There's going to be a very polarized expression of this Mars energy. I will tell you guys right now, I have known people in situations that have the moon in an exact trine to Mars, and this can create a scenario for unbridled like anger and a complete inability to sort of rein it in and to practice like self-control, especially in the air signs in terms of what's coming out of our mouth. Words as a weapon could definitely find their home in the energy of this Mars Sun trine. People could, this is, could be rage, violence, these fights, arguments, could be intense and sort of, like I said, uncontrollable temper, using words as artillery to slay people that we feel like are interfering with our ego, most likely. We're talking about the sun and trine to Mars, both the sun ruling the sign of Leo, right? This has associations to the ego energy, and Mars also has associations to the ego energy. Not that the ego is this terrible bad thing or anything like that, but a lot of times if we're over identifying with our ego, or if we are too attached to our ego and our ego feels wounded or threatened in any type of a way, it can cause a very intense emotional reaction. And with the moon in the sign of Gemini, like we may not be in Mars there, like we may not be thinking it through. Like this is energy that acts before it thinks and acts before it speaks. So one of the polarities of this energy is likely to be loose cannons, literally people totally flying off the handle, no self-restraint, no self-control, saying whatever comes out of their mouth. And it could be like pretty like harsh and pretty cutting, and it could just create some type of like explosive scenarios, okay? But on the other side of things, the higher octave of the Mars energy that's more associated with, the divine masculine and the protector and the spiritual warrior and the, the defender and all of this, then the passion and the willpower and the motivation, the inspiration, like this is also a very significant way that this energy can be playing out and manifesting, working on projects. That's some of the best way to use this energy is channeling it into our interests and our passions and the things that we are working on as a part of this authentic growth phase that we're going through right now, in alignment with where universe is pulling us, because we're not resisting that, right? No, we're surrendering to the path that universe is pulling us towards now, in alignment with what feels right to us on a gut level, and we know is in alignment with like authentic truth. We're pursuing our passions, and we're allowing ourselves to detach from that which would block that path, because if we don't do it willingly, universe is going to do it for us at this point in time. So we're going with the flow of the universal cosmic tides. But anyways, back to the situation, working on projects, ideas, following our passions, like I said, motivation to get things done. We are asserting ourselves in either case. This is, on one hand, this could be righteous anger coming up as well. Like people just standing up for themselves, putting their foot down, saying enough is enough, like not taking it anymore, or, being very defensive as well over anywhere that they feel like people are blocking their ability to express their passion, to express their voice. Like this is definitely like perhaps another dimension of how this energy could manifest. But it could be, on one hand, very inspiring or like inspirational conversations or meetings, these divine alignments, this sudden awareness, sudden awakening, epiphanies, like brilliant flashes of insight, totally like blowing our mind or bending our mind, but in such a way that it's giving us this motivation, this, Jupiter in the sign of Aries as well, this faith and this trust and belief in ourselves to be able to have the confidence to take a risk and to go in a new direction. Like this is the positive octave and manifestation of this energy right now. On the other side of that, like I said, there's like uncontrollable temper, or just using like lashing out in a lot of ways, or just a lack of self-control, not thinking before we speak, like zero self-restraint. Like things could get real just crazy and like mean, okay? On the other side of this energy, polarities, Gemini, and We want to do our best to be channeling the energy that is coming up within us into constructive means, because this is the energy also where if we're holding back or if we're repressing what we need to say or what, what we feel like we need to do, or especially though, considering this is happening in the sign of Gemini, like holding back our feelings because of this, that, or the other, like they're likely to maybe explode, and that can lead to these just blow ups of situations. So we want to do our best to channel the extra energy into things that are benefiting us in some type of way. If it's not going to be in your best interest to speak your mind on something, write it out, get it out in another way, have a conversation with yourself, record it and play it back, or journal it. Like I said, do what needs to be done to release the pressure without the pressure releasing you, because that could, happen in this energy as well. And as I said, we're also in this highly Uranian energy right now. Also, we're talking about Gemini, right? Where the moon is, where Mars is, in the trine to the sun. And we're talking about Mercury being the ruler of Gemini, who is currently in a trine to Uranus. And the sun also building into the square with Uranus this week. We're in Aquarius season. This Uranus energy is really strong right now. Uranus just stationed direct. Expect the unexpected. Things happening in a disruptive way. Nothing going according to plan. Honestly, this week, you guys, I would build flexibility into your schedule, especially as we get towards the weekend. Universe is probably going to be having us do some things this weekend to free ourselves in one way or another, whether we are an active participant in that or whether we're being forced into it. So putting something into your schedule, especially more as we head to the weekend, that is really liberating and freeing to you on a soul level, is going to be a benefit, because like I said, there's a good chance that you're going to find yourself in one of those type of places or situations anyways, but it's better to work with universe than a lot of times to just have universe do it for us. So relationship dynamics also are going to be a thing, probably building into the rest of the week. So that's sort of the energy that we have going on today to start the week, just this high octave, supercharged high octane Knight of Wands energy, force that is propelling us forward through this fire that is lighting within us through Mars and Gemini, better or worse, the passion, the motivation, or just the anger and the fury that is driving whatever we're doing. We want to try to stay as grounded as we can this week. We want to try to slow down a little bit if we can, because energy is probably going to be pushing us forward very, very quickly. We may have a bit of a hard time catching our breath or keeping our feet on the ground. We may feel like we've been in sort of through a whirlwind, for sure, like a tornado hit us or something by the time that we get towards the end of this week. Disruptions, upsets, sudden change. We want to watch out and be careful for accidents as well. This is why we sort of want to try to slow down, pay attention, stay grounded, make sure that we are in the moment, because there's a tendency to just be very connected to the higher frequencies and stuff like that, and not so rooted in what's happening right in front of us when we have this Uranus energy active like this as well. Like I said, things happening fast, things happening suddenly. We want to make sure and do our best to make sure that we're not being reckless, because this is where we can sort of maybe not have the best experience in this specific type of energy. Very busy, like I said, very high speed, so much happening, likely in some unexpected ways that are disheveling our normal routine or our normal plans. This could also, another thing that we're having come into effect this week is we're going to be having a square between Venus and Mars in mutable signs. This to me is talking about, and especially after just recently having Saturn and Venus in a conjunction as well, this to me is talking about some relationship dynamics that are falling away or that are eroding or that are maybe coming to the end. This is likely to be triggering some hidden tensions in relationships. And with the Uranus Sun square as well, the breakdown of things blocking creativity, growth, and progress. So I do think that this is a window this weekend where a lot of relationships could be sort of biting the dust if they are based in any type of more ego or more like superficial level type of stuff, this may be a weekend where things, partnerships, relationship dynamics, agreements, just coordination of things like that that are no longer really working out. We're sort of ready to, or maybe they come to some type of sudden end or something like that. But I feel like this is also being indicated. Mars and Venus coming into the square with Mars, this is going to bring up issues regarding the needs of our relationships versus our personal drive and need for like self-assertion right now as well. So with the sun and trine to Mars really fueling and supporting this Mars energy, this is a huge motivation to assert ourselves, especially like I said with Jupiter and the sign of Aries as well, upsetting the balance in relationship dynamics. This is people seeking freedom. This is people being real. This is people standing in their truth. This is people saying, you know, what their authentic needs are in the relationship, what they really want right now, how they've changed, how they are changing, and how this is impacting their ability to like meet the needs maybe of the current relationship, or whether that relationship is meeting their needs anymore in the context of the changes that are happening now. So Mars and square to Venus, this is definitely always an aspect, like I said, that like triggers these deeper tensions that may be existing under the surface of things in relationships, but it's going to have to do with the needs of the relationship versus how we are asserting ourselves and what we are motivated to do and pursue right now in these mutable signs. Mutable signs are also about like a flow and a transition and one thing flowing into another thing, and can have a tendency of sort of like breaking things down as well. And so just all the way around, you know, Venus in the sign of Pisces, this is also a very like idealistic and romanticized view of relationships, where anything that is not sort of meeting that standard has a potential of going by the wayside as well. So we'll be talking more about that through the context of this week, but that is potentially something that is coming up this week as well. And then of course the Sun Uranus energy that is building all week, Aquarius, Taurus, where Uranus is right now, ruled by Venus, will be in the square to Mars, and then the Sun in Aquarius ruled by Uranus. Both of these planets are involved in these squares. So again, like it has a lot to do with us rediscovering ourselves and maybe opening our eyes and realizing that the relationship dynamics or the partnership dynamics or the friendship dynamics, the social dynamics that we are in are no longer a match for who we really are or who we're becoming now. And so there's some changes that need to go on in order to liberate us from that situation so that we can move towards this trajectory and this path of growth. Like that is the whole push right now, I feel like, of the energy this week and of the energy at this point in time, pushing us to discover also, you know, with the Sun squaring Uranus energy, Uranus representing freedom to grow in alignment with potential and truth, where we feel a lack of freedom in various aspects of our lives, probably having a lot to do with relationship dynamics, partnership dynamics, financial situations, and what changes we should make in order to remedy that. That is also what we're seeking in this energy, striving to break down everyday routine and wherever we feel just constricted by normalcy, essentially, in a way that is like deadening our soul. It's another thing. This energy is like really seeking to bring us back to life. And if we're not doing that for ourselves, we may just find ourselves in some more bizarre or unusual experiences or situations this week, kind of catching us off guard a little bit, maybe making us a little bit uncomfortable, so that there's something really just lighting this fire underneath us to make these changes and to start rediscovering ourselves and aligning ourselves with the potential of going through this phase of growth. So that's where we're at in terms of this, in consideration of the world stage as well. You know, what's playing out on a more macrocosm level. Things could get very interesting this week. Moving into the Sun square Uranus energy, this could definitely bring up some issues with financial markets, economies, supply chains, resources. That's a fact that is affecting like a collective whole humanity, with the Sun in Aquarius coming to the square with Uranus in the sign of Taurus. Uranus, of course, disruptions, whatever is happening along the financial institutions or economies, resources, supply chains. Like, it's ultimately to shed light onto something and to fix something through discovering maybe a problem and having to go through a process of realignment, which is what Uranus Uranus brings. So, I do feel like we are heading into some maybe a little bit of turbulent waters in terms of that stuff as well. I mean, we've been experiencing a lot of that already, but with the sun coming into the square, things could really like unexpectedly be pointing more so in that direction to those type of themes over this next period of time. And we are in a time right now where everything is kind of coming to a head and things are about to seriously change. So that could be kind of significant. And it's just likely to be a week of expect the unexpected. There could be a lot of news and headlines and just like news cycles going very, very quickly this week as well, because of this air sign energy, Mars in the sign of Gemini, the trine to the sun in the sign of Aquarius, news, information, what we're talking about, what we're communicating about, just lots of information flying through the airwaves this week. And it's likely to be it's likely to be awakening us to something in some capacity as well because of all of this Uranus energy. So that's what I'm going to say, you guys. That's what I have to say about the astrology today. It should be a very interesting week, a very dynamic week. We'll put it that way. Let's talk about the tarot for a second. Like I said, we only got one card like formally coming out of the deck today, and that was the Knight of Wands, which is this passion that is fueling our forward movement. We are riding towards something with our wands in hand, ready to communicate something or to make something happen or to execute some type of action. We've got a mission that we're on right now, and it's, like I said, either being fueled by passion or anger, and there's a very fine line between those a lot of times. Now, the rest of the story is coming out in terms of the cards on the back of the deck, and I actually feel like this is the story that is behind kind of this Knight of Wands, which is like I said, what is moving us forward. And with it being on the back of the deck, being the energy that is behind this momentum, kind of makes sense to me. But we've got an Eight of Cups followed by a Death card, followed by an Ace of Pentacles, followed by a King of Pentacles. And this is actually, in terms of like tarot readings, a very, very clear and accurate story. And it is just kind of exactly explaining what's going on here. But essentially, we're coming to a place, Eight of Cups, where we've decided to make a change and walk away from something that was no longer fulfilling to us, that was no longer filling our soul, that was no longer giving us what we need to feel whole and to like feel alive and to feel like we are fulfilling our purpose or thriving in this experience, whatever. But we're turning our back, we're walking away from something that is just not doing it for us anymore, and going through this process of transformation, going through this process of rebirth, transmuting our lower selves into our higher selves, and essentially just becoming a new version of ourselves in alignment. And then we're discovering, as a result of that, and in alignment with this potential and this new opportunity and the what if factor that we are discovering within us through this process of transformation that we're going through as a result of whatever we've been able to release ourselves from in the past. So, we are seeing the potential that is available to us as a result of this transformational process that we've allowed ourselves to go through at this point in time. And the progression of the tarot, when we're talking about the minor arcana, it goes from the Ace, right, to the King. So this is telling us actually that on one hand, this transformation process itself is like in and of itself equating to a profound opportunity for ultimate soul fulfillment based on this process of self-actualization and activating our destiny. Like, that is what this transformative process is representing. And on the other side of that, it's also bringing us to a point where we are able to accept, to allow into our hand, to accept, to receive this potential and these opportunities, and to make something, to do something actually with it that can bring it to its full fruition, its full development, put us in a place where we are much more stable, much more comfortable, much more secure, much more committed also in terms of like our family situations or whatever we have going on, just a much more stable, much more abundant place. Or this could even be an internal environment as well based on what we're creating. But it's talking about through this transformation process, through what we're releasing ourselves from and walking away from right now, aligning with an opportunity of growth that has the potential to take us all the way in one form, phase, capacity, or another. So that, and this potential, right, this idea, this concept, this awareness, this this transformation, right? This is what is motivating us, creating this passion within us, and propelling us forward in this direction towards completing this mission, or manifesting with our creative energy as well, this trajectory that we are seizing this opportunity and using that to carry ourselves forward as well. So that's, I feel like, how this energy is coming together today and what it's explaining, and also just the way that all of this is going as well. Like, yeah, that's what we've been doing. We've been going through a karmic detox. We've been discovering who we are. We've been going through a process of transformation. We've been releasing ourselves from the past versions of ourselves based on the recognition of this value that we hold within us, North Node Taurus, South Node Scorpio, and what that could represent if we were to actually develop it, cultivate it, and see it through. That's what the tarot is saying. One more card, you guys. God, Spirit, Universe. What's a piece of advice we could use today? What will benefit us in this extremely Mars-oriented energy? It says you can only change yourself. So this is what we should be focusing on today, you guys, as this energy is playing out. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father, which is in heaven, Matthew 5:16. Be an example for others. You cannot change others' behavior any other way except to show by good example what sort of things a good life can bring one. Forgive them for their failures, forgive them for their words, love them, and by your example, show them the way. This is the only way except to pray for them to know and to follow your example. So this is how we're interacting with reality today, you guys. We are using our energy to work towards our goals, to focus on our projects, to make ourselves better in whatever capacity we can. We are not channeling our energy to try to control or mold or sculpt or do anything with the behavior of other people. We are being examples today and channeling all this highly energized mental energy into being the best version of ourselves that we can be, and moving towards our whatever we are working towards right now. So that's what I have to say today, you guys. A message from the stars, a message from the cards. I hope you guys liked it. I hope there was something in there for you that can benefit you somehow. If you guys did like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, you guys, share it with your friends if you think that they would like this kind of astrology, be into this type of content as well. Leave me comments, you guys. I love your comments. I'm so grateful for every single one of you. Thank you guys so much for being here. I love knowing how this energy affects you and is playing out for you guys as well. Definitely let me know. Thank you guys so much again for being here. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and some other social medias in my description box below. I post a lot over there too if you guys are interested in any of that. And come back with me on Wednesday, you guys. We're not going to be having a video for tomorrow because I'm preparing our February overview. On Wednesday, we're going to have the whole overview for the month of February. But, we've talked a lot about the dynamics for this week generally in this energy, and tomorrow is going to be more the same. The moon's still going to be in Gemini, so this just highly energized, very tumultuous a little bit, and unexpected flow of things that we are moving with gracefully as we head towards February. So I will see you on Wednesday, you guys. Have a beautiful rest of January, and until next time, bye.